Knock knock. Who is there? Me. Hi. Welcome to today's video. Okay, so one of the most frequently asked questions I get about making videos is what lenses do I use? So today I'll be going over my top 3 lenses for Sony crop sensor cameras. Let's do it! Alright, number 1, the Sigma 16mm 1.4. This is by far the best lens I have ever owned, and 80% of pretty much everything I shoot is with this lens. And by this lens, I mean literally this lens, because it's attached to my camera right now, and I would show you, but I'm using it because it's so awesome. So I just roll some B-roll or something to show you what the lens looks like and yada yada yada. Anyway, it is a focal length equivalent of 24mm, which makes it a wide angle lens, which gives everything you shoot basically this like wide, grand, huge feel. And I like to get up close and personal with my subjects, so this lens makes everything I shoot look like kind of larger than life. Also, the 1.4 aperture gives this beautiful out of focus blur to your subject and really separates your subject from the background. It's also great in low light because it lets in a huge amount of light. So I use this lens for pretty much all my nighttime shooting and anything that I do indoors. However, this is a wide angle lens, so if you get too close to your subjects, you'll cause distortion like this. So it's not really great for traditional portraits. And it's a prime lens, which means it is a fixed focal length, which means if you want to get closer or further away from your subject, you physically have to move closer or further away. But if the distortion and the fact that you have to move around a lot doesn't really bother you, then for the price of $450, this lens is a masterpiece. And there are no other lenses like it for that price range. Alright, number 2, the Sony Nifty 50. This is the cheapest native lens you can get for your Sony camera for about $200. So it's super small, super light, you can just throw it in your bag. But what makes this nifty is the fact that it has a 1.8 aperture. So that basically means it does amazing low light because it lets in a whole bunch of light, and it completely separates your subject from your background, which makes this one of the best beginner portrait lenses. So if you're into doing stuff like nighttime portraits or something like that, or even if you're not, even if you do portraits during the day or something like that, this thing will completely blow your kit lens out of the water. However, it is a prime lens, which means that if you want to get closer or further from your subject, once again, you will have to walk closer or further away from your subject. It is also a 50mm lens, so on a crop sensor camera that makes it basically a 75mm, which means it is really, really tight. So this lens doesn't really do that great in small spaces because once you're back up against the wall, you can't go back anymore and you're pretty much stuck. But, I mean, other than that, it's only $200. So if you're balling on a budget, then this is a bangin'. And last but not least, the one, the only 18-105 f4. So this is the all-purpose walk-around lens. It goes from super wide 18mm, which is not super wide, but pretty wide 18mm, all the way down to telephoto at 105mm. So whether you're shooting portraits, landscape, street photography, weddings, everything in between, this thing has you covered. It has a constant aperture of f4, which means when you zoom in and out, it won't brighten or darken the image. And when you zoom into about 70mm and further, you'll get that creamy out of focus background behind your subject, even at an aperture like f4. Where this lens does not shine, however, is in low light. It does have an aperture at f4, so compared to something like 1.4 or 1.8 on a prime lens, it really doesn't do amazing in low light. You can get away with using it, but you're gonna have to crank up your ISO a bit, and that's gonna cause grain. It's gonna make your image a little noisy and muddy, and it's not gonna be as sharp as if you used a prime lens. Holy shit. Oh my. It is also the most expensive out of the three at about $550. But if you do a lot of daytime shooting, or if you like to do weddings where you don't have a lot of time to change lenses and everything's really like run and gun, then this is an amazing investment, and I really recommend it over the other two. And that's it. Those are my top 3 lenses for Sony crop sensor cameras. Now, there are many factors that go into buying a lens. There is budget, what you shoot, like landscapes or portraits, whether you shoot photo or video, etc. So really think about what you need and what you want before you invest a ton of money into a lens or lenses. These lenses are just what have worked for me and have given me the best results over the years that I've been shooting. So think about what you want and what you need before you drop $1,000 or so on a bunch of lenses. As always, thank you for watching. Drop a fat thumbs up and make sure to subscribe for more banging videos like this one. Thanks for watching. See you in the next video.